Hello everyone, my name is Alisé A Préjéan of Knowthyselfandheal.com. So I want to talk to you about some interesting days that I've discovered that's coming up. And those days are January 18th of 2023 to January 22nd of 2023. So first of all, it starts with Mercury going direct at 8 degrees and some minutes of Capricorn. So you can find that in your chart. What house is it in? Because that's this area of life that you've likely been contemplating as Mercury's been retrograde. And so on January 18th, Mercury goes direct at 8 degrees Capricorn. And you know what's interesting about that day is Venus, the planetary guide to the transiting north node of the moon right now, which is Taurus. Venus is going to be at 18 degrees of Aquarius. And the reason I find that interesting is because that's exactly square 18 degrees of Taurus, where Uranus went retrograde back in August of 2022. And it's interesting to me because of the lead up that's going to occur from this January 18th Mercury direct all the way to January 22nd, when Uranus goes direct at 14 of Aquarius. And so just like with any planetary retrograde, then Uranus will be recovering the degrees that it went retrograde with. And it's about 4 degrees. And so 4 degrees, this would be, you know, of course, then once Uranus reaches 18 degrees, then we will have recovered this retrograde season for Uranus. So the fact that Venus is exactly square that point where Uranus went retrograde is really interesting, because Venus is the planetary guide to Taurus, and this is where we're getting these Uranian insights, where we can really be having some unexpected ideas, unexpected perceptions, unexpected understandings that just occur to us spontaneously. And Aquarius, you know, we know is ruled or guided by Uranus. So these points are really interesting in this week to consider. It's almost about a week. It's like January 18th, as I said, to January 22nd. So let's see what's occurring between those two dates, right? So as I said, January 18th, Mercury directed 8 Capricorn. Venus is square the point that Uranus went retrograde in Taurus, okay? Now, January 19th, the Sun conjuncts Pluto at 28 degrees of Capricorn. And so this is the Sun shining the light on this Plutonian component. Pluto is the planetary guide to the south node of the moon right now, Scorpio. And so this is really exposing where it is that we could really be finding new ways to harness our power, our empowerment, by really cultivating this self-trust, self-love, self-worth, and all things considering Taurus consciousness, which is about utilizing our senses of the body to really understand our own personal evolutionary momentum and what it is that is actually in alignment with our own power, our own resources, and what is going to fuel our evolutionary momentum moving forward, particularly because Uranus is in Taurus. And so this is the updates that we've likely been getting around our own connection to our own soul, our own power, our own values, our own self-love. And so that Sun conjunct Pluto is an important day. And it's interesting that it occurs right after Mercury goes direct. And remember too, that Mercury, it has to do with the nervous system. So it passes information through the nerves to the brain. Uranus is the brain. So these two are really important components. They work together, of course. And remember that the nerves is what actually is the information that tells the brain, hey, you know, I like this or I don't like this. This feels good to me. This doesn't feel good to me. And so these are really important things that we can be paying attention to make sure that we're in alignment with the right people, right situations, right circumstances for us personally, for our own evolutionary momentum, and really aligning with that which is going to fuel us, resource us, moving forward. January 21st, the sun enters Aquarius. So this is the sun shining the light on our own Aquarian consciousness. And this is the brain, this is the mind, this is the part of us that can tap into our own personal brilliance and self-actualize that through our own self-actualization process of our own creative energy consciousness. And so this is interesting, this lead up that then happens when January 22nd, Uranus stations direct at 14 degrees of Taurus. And so I just want to remind you that Uranus went retrograde at 18 degrees on August 24th of 2022. What was happening in your life around that time? You could be looking at what was really going on in your life. Where is Uranus traveling in your chart? What house is it in? This is where it's really bringing the insights, the updates, and the evolutionary momentum moving forward for you, this particular aspect of your life. So look to see what house it's in. And so the integration point also I wanted to speak to you about with Uranus is that we know whenever a planet retrogrades, there's a pre-shadow phase. That's when a planet is covering the degrees that it will actually retrograde in. Or when we say degrees, it just means an area of the sky, an area of our own psychological development, an area in our own lives, an aspect of in our own lives, right? And then there's the station retrograde, right? So then it does retrograde over those degrees that or that part of the sky, our charts as well, right? That it's going to cover for that cycle. And then when it goes direct, it actually begins to recover the degrees of the sky that it traveled through, or in our charts, right? In our whatever's been developing in our own lives with that planetary function. And so Uranus is going to be recovering its degrees from 14 degrees to 18 degrees, and it'll actually reach that 18 degrees again in April of 2023. And at that point, Pluto will be in Aquarius, Uranus's sign. And so Pluto will be squaring the nodes and squaring this Scorpio and Taurus axis of our own consciousness. And so this is really such a beautiful thing, because Pluto is going to apply the pressure that is necessary for us to truly harness our own sense of self-trust and self-value, and really get in alignment with our own needs, and how the senses really inform our own needs, and how they're also there to inform us of what directions to move towards that is going to truly assist our evolutionary momentum and our expansion of consciousness, and really the different dimensions of our own psyche that we wish to cultivate and develop. So this is an interesting handful of days to be watching what's going on in your life. Whenever planets are changing direction, or when planets are entering into new signs, these are very important times to be really observing what's happening in your life. Really taking note of that, because when you are really applying your consciousness and your focus, you can actually utilize these transits in a more effective way, because you're paying more attention and you're really actually looking at what's happening for you, and you're doing that inner self work where you can be contemplating, okay, this is what's happening for me in my life, and what is this reflecting back to me in the way in which I've been projecting my consciousness, but also the way in which I'd like to move forward. Are there thoughts, perceptions, beliefs that are maybe producing results I do not desire? And so therefore these thoughts, perceptions, and beliefs are really not in true support of me. And maybe they were at one time, but they may not be anymore. And then, we can also be getting different angles of how we're looking at things. We can be seeing things in new ways, especially when we're looking at Mercury and Uranus changing direction, right? And so, this is really important time to be looking at those things. We all know, if you've been following my channel or following the astrological transits, we also all know that Mars just went direct in Gemini. And so, we've been experiencing Mars in Gemini for a while, and we've been really looking at how we instinctually project our own thoughts, perceptions, ideas, and how that really does inform us of our maybe underlying beliefs, maybe unconscious beliefs. And then is that really in service to our own evolutionary momentum? Or have we just taken on things in the past, the way of looking at things or beliefs or, belief structures that aren't really resonant for us anymore? And so with the nodes of the moon in Taurus and Scorpio, just remember that this really is such an incredible opportunity to truly align with your own self-empowerment and your own values, and really cultivating alignment with your self-worth, because we all have something really important to bring to our own evolutionary momentum, as well as the evolutionary momentum of the collective. And so it's important to be in alignment with our self-trust and self-worth, and really utilizing these nodes of the moon in Taurus and Scorpio to be assessing what is it that is actually happening in my life that's exposing whether I'm in alignment with my empowerment or I am not. And so how can I utilize this time to really get into alignment with my own values and my own love, so that I can self-actualize in a powerful way my own love and my own light? Because in March of 2023, Pluto will enter Aquarius, as I said, and this is going to be really helpful in actually exposing where we are either feeling empowered to self-actualize our loves in our own unique brilliance, in our own light, in a creative way, or where it is that we are not in alignment with that. We can also be at that time beginning to see where it is that maybe we are either trusting our power, trusting we have power, or we're really coming from a place of fear, and we might be, coming from a more egocentric point of view where we're, maybe not sharing the light with other people, or we're not allowing others to shine, or we feel threatened because other people are shining and we feel like we're not, which is, really helpful in knowing, because if that's the case, then it gives us the opportunity to see, well, why would I even believe that? Why is it I'm perceiving that? And what does that stem from? So that I can actually, just neutralize that by becoming aware of it, and then moving forward in a new direction that is truly acting on behalf of my knowing of my own worth and self-value, my love, and what I love, what I'm here to create, how I'm here to really self-actualize my own brilliance. And so I hope this video is helpful for you. And so I encourage you to be looking to see how this unfolds for you, this point in time from January 18th to January 22nd. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you find this information helpful, then please let me know. I'd love to hear what you find is helpful, or anything that you would like to share that you feel inclined to share. It always makes the conversation more rich. And I just want you to know too, if you enjoy my videos, enjoy my perspective on the astrological insights, then you're certainly welcome to follow me or friend request me on Facebook. I'm going to put the link to my Facebook page in the description box for you, so you can easily access that. I do astrological write-ups, and so sometimes the information comes in a different way through my writing. And I think, I personally like seeing as much as I can, astrologically speaking. I love reading about astrology. I love watching conversations about astrology, sometimes you can just get insights in different ways. And so if you feel inclined to follow me, do feel free to do that. I have an astrology page as well. It's called Alisé A Préjéan, Astrology and Healing Arts. So you can find me on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram. Same name, Alisé A Préjéan. Astrology is what it is on Instagram. And so I'd be happy to see you there. I'm happy to see you here. If you find this video helpful and you think someone might be able to get something valuable from it, do please feel free to share it. And also, if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I'd be extremely happy to have you as a subscriber. And so feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.